One day. One day I will learn to do intros. Hello, welcome back. It is time for another work day. I am currently sipping on my omichajang. This is omichajang with lime sparkling water and then some mint from my little mint plant outside. Hello, this is not for you. Go lay down, please. Go lay down, please. But I am here. I've got set up. I've got some snacks. Got my favorite chips, which I know these have a spicy pepper and it says hot. These are not. These are probably the same spice level as like regular Cheetos. Because Korean chips are very sweet. So that kind of cancels out the heat from these chips. So these are no, actually, these taste like either ketchup chips or like all dressed chips. So this is as close as I can get to all dressed chips in Korea. And I'm very happy because I love all dressed chips, but I have my chips. And then I also have my favorite pepero, which is the almond pepero. Almond pepero is the best, and I am willing to die on that hill. So I've got my snacks. And it is time to create new math assessments. My dog has suddenly decided she wants my attention. I swear she waits till I start filming. Go lay down. If I wasn't filming on my computer, I would show you how, like, the puppy dog eyes full force right now. My goodness. All right. So today I'm going to be working on redoing one of my math assessments. Now, the reason I am redoing my math assessments, there's two reasons. Number one, I hate multiple choice questions. Not only do I hate multiple choice questions, my curriculum has decided to add in these like bubble in answers, and I understand why they have done it, especially with how standardized test heavy the US education system is becoming. However, not only do I work in Korea, I work at a private school in Korea. My kids don't take the Sunung. My kids don't take state testing. My kids only do map testing. So I don't have to teach state tests, anything like that. I only have to worry about map testing. And that's a whole other set of skills. We don't bubble in answers. It's a computer-based test. So I don't want to do that. And number two, I do standards-based grading, which these tests are not good for standards-based grading. They're good for overall point-based grading, which is not what I do. So I need to rework it a little bit to make it easier for me. So now you will see I have already started like doing some stuff on here. What I have done is I went through, and first of all, I have my little list of vocab words for this unit, and of course my reminder up here of my division terms. And then I also have my standard for each question written in. So like this question number 2 addresses standard NF6 for Common Core math standards. And I have also gone through and found extra questions to use because some of the standards are only addressed once in this test. And because my kids get a grade on a scale of 1 to 4, I like to have multiples of 4 for each question. So it's easy for me to figure out the grade for that standard. So I either have 4 or 8 of each standard. So it's easier for me to grade when that time comes. So I've got all of that done, and I am now ready to start making my new test. So the way that I make my new test is I am going to open up Google Drive. And on Google Drive, I have slides open. This is a brand new Google Slides presentation, and I'm going to exit that out. I am going to immediately delete that, and I'm going to set up my slide to be paper size. Now, if you are in the US watching this, you want 8.5 by 11 or 11 by 8.5, depending on which way you want it. I am in Korea, like I said, so I need A4 size paper. So I'm going to do 8.3 by 11.7. And now it is A4 paper size. I'm also going to rename this very quickly to chapter 3 summative, so I know what this is. And now we can get started. So the first thing I'm going to do is add my title box here as well, so I know what assessment this is. So chapter 3, multiplying and dividing fractions. All right. Oops, don't need that. Let's move it and adjust it and edit this. So we're going to use one of my favorite fonts on Google, which is the Spartan font. I usually use either the Spartan or I like this Didact Gothic as well. Those are both really good fonts, especially because I need to be, even though I teach grade 5, I need to be a bit more careful with the fonts that I choose because I do have a lot of emergent bilingual students in my class. And as someone who is also an emergent bilingual, I hate when I have to read very scripty type font in Korean. I hate it so much because I do not know how to read that scripty type font. Same thing with like handwriting and like anything like that. I can't, because it is so difficult for me. So I try to make sure to give my emergent bilingual students the same courtesy as not having to read ridiculously complex scripty fonts, which I love my KG fonts. Don't get me wrong. I use KG fonts for a lot of things. She has a lot of good fonts, but a lot of KG fonts that I see, I'm like, oh, I can't use that, which sad, but it is what it is. All right, so chapter 3, multiplying and dividing fractions. Actually, I'm going to do chapter 3 and then make that its own line. Perfect. And then I want, there we go. And we're gonna make chapter 3 bold and make it a bit bigger because I like how that looks. Okay, make this box a bit bigger. There we go. Let's outline the box. Perfect. Now, I have left this space right here blank intentionally because to make my life easier with standards-based grading, I will put a little table up at the top to keep track of grades. So I am assessing 4 standards this round, and I am going to increase that. There we go. I'm assessing 4 standards this round, or like for this assessment. So what I am going to do is set up my table and then adjust that slightly. All right, so the standards that I am assessing are 5 NF 4A, 5 NF 6, 5 NF 7A, and 5 NF 7B. And then these 3 can be merged together for reasons you will see in one moment. All right, let's edit this table so that it is much more aesthetically pleasing. Dun, 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 dun. And, oh, I want, there we go. Black outline. There we go. And we want these boxes to be gray. All right. So what I have done now is I have a table at the top with all of my standards and the total. I don't take a grade on the total score. However, I do have kids frequently ask me what like their total score is, and parents want to know total score. So I still put it on there just for them to know. But then when I am grading the test, I can come back to this box and I can write in, oh, for this standard, you got a 3G. For this one, you got a 3I. And the way that they get their grades is the achievement is, did you get it right? Did you get it wrong? And the effort is, did you show your work? Do I see that you tried to solve it? Did you do what I asked? Like, did you use the strategies I gave you to help solve this problem? So it is very possible to get a 1 achievement grade, but an E effort grade. There are those kids who, despite all of their best efforts, just did not get the concept this time around, which if a kid gets a 1E, that's on me to go back and reteach it to this child. Very rarely do kids get a 1E. I've had one student get a 1 before, like overall, and their effort grade was also like a P. It was very much like we tried everything in our power. It was, yeah. So this is where I can keep track of effort grades, achievement grades, stuff like that, and then the total amount. So I've got that. Now I need to insert my name and date box. And I'll move that right there. Move it over and change the font. There we go. The name. And date. All right, now this first page is going to be my vocab word assessment. So every chapter, they get vocab words, and then these vocab words, this dog is looking at me, she thinks I'm going to share my Pepero with her. Every time I swear there has not been a vegetable truck since last time I sat down to film. They know when I'm filming. I'm telling you, they know. It's like a superpower. Anyway, every chapter, there are vocab words I want them to focus on. Now, my school has recently upgraded our math curriculum, same curriculum, we just got the newer version. And I can't find vocab words anywhere in my teacher manual. Now, they might be there. I might just be blind, but even if I could find them, like I said before, I have all of my class is technically immersion bilinguals. So I like to pick vocab words that are like the most important. You need to know this vocab words, and I like to make sure the definitions actually apply to what we are learning. So even if I do find vocab words, I'm still going to keep these ones that I have picked out because I think these ones are the most important. So what I'm going to do is first I'm going to add in my word bank. I always have a word bank. Very few things in life need to be complete memorization. I am not a fan of complete memorization 99% of the time. And I can't think of something off the top of my head that I would be okay with memorization, but I'm sure. Fast facts, like multiplication facts, times tables, that's something that I believe needs to be memorized. Anyway, all right, word bank. Fraction. Numerator. Denominator. As you can see, my spelling is phenomenal. Factor. Product. Divisor. Dividend. And quotient. All right. Got my word bank. Now let's make it look better. I would say like probably 40% of the time spent on this is just spent on like making things look good or making it like easy to read, because realistically, I'm not like inventing anything myself. I'm using the same problems from the textbook. I'm pulling everything directly from my curriculum. I'm just making the formatting easier for me to use. All right. There we go. Got our word bank. I don't like how thin that line is. And again, do I need to do this? No, but it's summer vacation. I'm not going anywhere, so this is something I can do. All right, got that. Now let's add in our questions. Or actually, wait, I need to put in directions first. So up here in the directions part, I'm going to write the correct vocab word on the line. And then in parentheses, I'm going to put 1 point each, because this is, I taught my students last year, this is how they know whether or not they are required to show work. So students know that they get 1 point for a correct answer, 1 point for showing work, and 1 point for a label if necessary. So they can look at like a word problem, and if it says 3 points each, they know, okay, that means answer, work, and label. 1 point each means they only need one word, one answer on each line. So I got that. All right. Question number 1. And I'm not going to do them in the order that the word bank is in, because they would catch on to that very quickly. And I do want to make sure they're paying attention somewhat. So for my first one, I'm going to do product. So I'm going to highlight, copy, paste. All right. And then I'm going to capitalize that. Okay, so the result of multiplying factors together, the answer to, did my phone just buzz? It did not. I'm just hearing things. All right. The multiplication question is the, and then insert a blank line. Now let's format this real quick. And we're gonna do size, but now we're gonna do, because kids gotta write on this line, we're gonna do size 18 font, which I can make this bigger as well. This can also be size 18 font. Oh, but I don't want. Okay, no. Size 14 is good. All right, this is gonna be size 18 font, and I am going to 1.5 space it so they actually have room to write their answer. And we'll give them a very large line, because a lot of these kids are still getting a grasp on like handwriting in English. Some of these kids have never written in English before in their lives, so they need more space to write. We're gonna copy that and paste it. All right. Oh, come here. Next question. Let's do the total number of parts below the number below the fraction bar. Copy. All right. Like I said, this is like the most time-consuming part, just because I'm below the fraction bar is the. There we go. All right. So I'm going to keep doing this until all of this is done. I will check back in with you once I have my vocab page done. All right. I have finished with my vocab page. So this is how I can just assess, if they retained these vocab words, which these are there should be no new words for this chapter 3 test. All of these words should be introduced in chapter 1 or 2. So this is really review vocab. All right, now moving on to the next page, I'm going to add a blank slide, and now let's actually start our questions. So to make things easy on me, I grouped questions by the standard being assessed. So I am going to copy this and move that up here. And my instructions are going to be to solve each problem, show your work. 2 points each. And then I like to just put show your work in highlighter. There will always be students who do not show their work. However, this makes it much easier for me to be like, yeah, you didn't get the points because you didn't show your work like I asked. So there you go. All right, show your work. Now, this one is for N5 and F4A. So now, when I am grading this later, hello, I will know exactly which standard this one goes for. All right, now I need to put in my question. So I'm going to do 2 of them in Word format, 2 of them in, I don't even know, what's it called when it's not, sir, or ma'am, or them. What are you doing? All right, let's do the ones in Word format. So the first one is going to be, what is the product of, now for fractions, there is an easy way I like to do fractions on here, and I will show you in a second. So I'm going to leave a blank space for the fraction there, and 9. All right. The way that I like to do fractions on here is I am going to insert another table. It's going to be a 1x2 table. And I am going to make it quite small and put it right here. And I'm going to put my fraction in here. So 2/3. Now, the way that I'm going to do this is this first one, we're going to align it close to the bottom. And this one, we're going to align it close to the top. Doesn't make a huge difference when it's like this. But what I do now is I am going to change it so that there is no border, no border. And there we go. No border. Now, if you look, this number is just floating in free space. Same thing here. No border. No border. Please. There we go. And no border. And now this middle border, I'm going to make it black and make it a bit thicker. Now I have my fraction. And I'm sure some of you are like, why don't you just, well, why don't you just make like text box and then numbers and then add a line? And because this is going to be a lot easier for me to move around and manipulate. And this is just how I have found it is the easiest for me to create fractions on Google Slides. All right. I have my first one. Now I'm going to leave room. This is another one of my biggest pet peeves is when they don't leave room for the kids to do work. I'm gonna leave a bunch of room. I should be able to fit. There we go. All right, so the next one is, what is the product of, this one has 2 fractions. So I'm going to delete that. I'm going to copy and paste it, and then drag my second fraction right here. All right, and my second fraction is 7/5 and 15/2, not 3, 2. There we go. And now I'm going to go into this text box underneath it and add a question mark. There we go. And then for the next part, I have two questions that are not word questions. So what we're going to do is we are going to put in a text box. I'm just going to put a multiplication symbol. And we're going to make it a tad larger, and not that large. 20 is good. All right. And I am going to paste. And paste. All right. And so this one is going to be, oh, whoops, it is not. Two fractions multiplied by each other. So I'm going to do 1/4 times, oops, don't want that. I'm struggling. There we go. Times 28. And let's fix that so it's formatted correctly. There we go. Let's put this right here. And then I'm going to copy, paste. And let's put it right there. And this one is going to be 3/5 times 40. All right. So now my standard for NF4 is done. And we're going to move on to my next standard, which is going to be NF6. All right, NF6, I believe, is my word problem standard. So let me double check actually if that is my word problem standard. Let me pull up my, you can't see it, but I have my school yearly overview. All right, curriculum overview, NF6, solve real world problems involving multiplication of fractions and mixed numbers. Yes, this is my word problem standard. All right, so now I am going to have to, no, we can do this the easy way. So when I say we're going to do this the easy way, I will show you what I mean. Give me one moment. So I can type out all the questions, or I can I have to like sign in. All right. So this is my math curriculum dashboard for Singapore math. And what I'm going to do is I am going to select assessment guide, because that's what they call the tests, and chapter 3 test. All right, so here is the PDF version of my test. And what I am going to do is I am going to, on a Mac, do Command-Shift-5. What that has done is this has popped up with this lovely box so that I can now take a screenshot. So I'm going to adjust this. Capture. And now I can just drag this on here. And I have my problems. Because I don't want to deal with like typing all of this out and figuring all of this like fraction stuff out. All right, so I need to adjust this. This is gonna be 3 points each. And this is an F6. All right, got that. For this one, I think I can put 2 on each page. That'll give them enough room to work. All right, so I've got my first one. And now my next NF6 question is number 7. Oh. Go. So again, Command Shift 5. I don't need to put that, they know. Capture. And drag that on. Excuse me. There we go. Okay, let's make this the same size. So a lot of this is just me being picky about how I like things. There we go. All right, got those 2 problems. Number 8, blank page. And I'm still gonna put the instructions on this page because I just feel like that's a good idea. And numero 9. This lined up nicely. There we go. All right. So that is my NF6 questions. Now moving on to my NF7A questions. All right, so for NF7A, I think I can fit all NF7A questions on one page. So I am going to add another blank page and paste my instructions again. All right, solve each problem, show your work. These are going to be 2 points each. And this is 7A. All right, now I'm going to come back up here to, there we go. We are going to do this one, copy, paste, and let's edit this a little bit. So now I need to do division, and there is no division key on my keyboard. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to come up here to insert, and then I'm going to select special characters. Now, if you pull this up, you can start typing in division, and if you'll notice, all of these symbols pop up. So I'm going to insert the division symbol, and that is all I need. So I got my symbol because the rest, this is, oh, nope, this one is divided by a whole number, pardon me. So divided by, thank you, 4. And this should be 1/3. All right, number 1 finished. All right, so now I'm going to copy this and paste it again. And I am going to undo that. Let's try that again, paste. There we go. All right, and let's move it up a little bit. There you go. Okay, next one is going to be 1/3 divided by 2. And we are going to paste again, move it down. Let's see if we can, there we go. All right, next one is going to be 10/11 divided by 5. And the last one is going to be, let's line it up. There we go. I feel like that's not lined up. Yeah, that's definitely not lined up. Google, help, please. There we go, that's better. And the last one is 4/5 divided by 7. All right, got my 7A questions done. Now let's move on to 7B. We go. Hold on, I feel like I'm missing something. Where is my, oh, it's on my other screen. I feel like I'm missing a standard. Oh, I am missing a standard. Solve real world division problems. Oh my goodness, there are no division problems. Lovely. All right, so I'm glad I checked. That's okay. That will be an easy fix. All right, so what we are going to do is we are going to duplicate this slide. Delete, and this is going to be 7B. So now what I'm going to do is I just did fractions divided by whole numbers. Now I'm going to do whole numbers divided by fractions. So going to move to the other side and we're going to do 3 divided by, and let's move this over, 1/5 is my first problem. All right. No, now let's move this. And like right here. Okay. All right. Copy, paste. All right, next one is 5 divided by 1/8. Paste. That's not lined up. That's also not lined up. What, Google, what are these guidelines you're giving me? I do not understand, Google. Maybe they are lined up and I'm just not looking at it properly, but that doesn't look. There we go. That's lined up now. Okay, whatever. And then the next one is 9 divided by 1/6. Paste. Line up. And the last one is 2 divided by 1/7. All right. Now, I have my 7B. So now I need to go back because I need to add 7C. So I'm going to go back to my first page and I'm going to unmerge this column. So format, table, we are going to unmerge cells and we are going to move this total to this box. And we are going to change this to 5NF7C since I am assessing that. This is why we go back and check. All right, and I am going to just copy this page and duplicate the slide, bring it to the bottom. And we are going to change this to 7C. And because I do not have any 7C questions on this assessment, we are going to go to the assignment that they will complete and just pull questions from the assignment. So dividing fractions, whole numbers, real world problems. All right. So I am just gonna pull this first one. Let's pull her on. All right. So delete that. Make that smaller. And next one. Let's pull number 4. Oh, that one's got decimals too. I don't want to do one with decimals as well. I don't think that's a fair. Express your answer as I don't know. I don't think that's fair. Okay. We're going to do number 5, but we're not going to express it as a decimal. I'm not going to make them do that because that's not in our standards to express fractions as decimals, at least not for this one. We're doing a whole unit on decimals, which is actually confusing that this comes first because they have a decimal unit later. All right, so what we're going to do is we're going to pull this on. And so I've got my question, but if you'll notice, it still says express your because I couldn't take that piece out. So what I'm going to do is, where's the middle of the page? Google. Thank you. So now what I'm going to do is I'm going to insert a text box or just insert a box. And I am going to cover up that express your, and then I'm going to change it so that it is a white box with a white outline, and then boom, bam, it's gone. All right. And let's duplicate this slide. And we need 2 more problems. All right. Miss Jones bought a piece of cloth measuring 3 3/4 meters by 2 2/7 meters. She bought the cloth at $14 per square meter. How much did Miss Jones pay for it? I swear I already looked at that problem. Oh, because this is okay. Whoops, wrong spot. There we go. That would be why. All right. Daniel collects 6/7 quart of rainwater. He uses 1/2 of the water to clean his bicycle and uses the remaining water equally for 3 houseplants. What volume of the water does he use for each houseplant? That's a good one. All right. Answer 5. Oh, this darn bicycle. So I'm going to have to, once again, use a square to cover up that piece, which is fine. Not a problem, just kind of annoying. Got a notification on my phone. All right, let's delete that, move this up. We're gonna grab this white box and just move it up. Oh, that's okay. So right now the box is behind the picture because this was on the page before this, which is okay. We can just Oh, where did it go? Arrange, order, bring to front. There we go. All right, and we need one more. Chloe spends 8/9 of an hour reading newspapers. She spends 1/4 of the time reading the world news and splits the remaining time equally between the sports news and the comics. How much time does she spend reading the comics? Okay. And she has 5. All right. Yep, sure. Pull her in. And oh, that's too little. There we go. Where's the center of that is not the center of the page. Where's the center of the page, Google? There it is. Okay, and let's make a copy of this box and move it to cover that. All right. There we go. So I have got 4 of each type of question. I have room for them to show their work, and I have all of the standards that I will be assessing for chapter 3 on here ready to go. So now I can, when I am eventually back at school, I will print this off, go through, write in my answer key, and then I will have my assessment ready to go. I just got water all over my Post-it notes. So that is how I create my own tests, and I do this for math. This is also how I make my own tests. I don't really do tests for unit of inquiry, but if I have a test or a quiz for unit of inquiry, I do it this way. Literacy, same thing. Usually I do literacy assessments like in their notebooks, but if I need to make a separate assessment, this is how I do it as well. It's just math is the most common thing that I need to make assessments for. So especially now that I have this first one done as well, it will be a lot easier for me to go through and do the rest of them. I can copy this entire presentation and then I will already have like my heading done, and I just need to swap out the questions, which will be a lot faster since I don't need to go through and reformat everything. But yeah, that's it. That is how I make my own assessments to better suit my needs. I hope this was helpful. If you want to see anything else, drop a comment and I will get to it.